All right, I'm live. As you guys can see, I actually got out my real ring light. Um, Yesterday I had like my little round one, which was super convenient, and I actually do normally. That's something that I would be like pro to use, but just looking back at the tape yesterday and just seeing how dark everything was, I'm like, so I actually had my real ring light out today. But hey, you guys. So I'm gonna give you guys a minute. I'm gonna give it a little. I'm gonna give it a few minutes to kind of warm up a little bit, as I like to say. Um, so for those of you guys that did not join me yesterday, one of the things that I said that I wanted to do, kind of like between somewhere, from yesterday on through like maybe Thursday, tomorrow, maybe Friday, if I don't conclude, if I don't wrap this stuff up. Wait, let me see if I got the right angle. Can you all see me? Am I a little? How's that? I feel like that's a little bit better. I hope that's a little bit better for you guys. Well, anyway, from yesterday through tomorrow, maybe Friday, if I don't wrap it up tomorrow, is I wanted to just kind of like use these days as like a little time to go live with you guys, because you guys know I have not gone live with you all probably since the beginning of this year. I guess it was maybe like springtime, maybe the early half of the summer since I was like last regularly going live. So I thought it'd be a nice way to kind of close out the year, the way that it started, me going live. But I wanted to really kind of like just use this time just to go over videos that I felt, maybe some of the videos went viral, maybe some of them just got a lot of buzz, a lot of comments, and I thought this would be a nice time to do it. So what I've done is typically my setup is to have my tripod, to have my cell phone onto the tripod, and just tape that way, just to film that way. This time I'm being special with it, you guys. I actually used my desktop. I have my desktop computer out, and I have my cell phone in my hand, just so that I could kind of go through, kind of scroll through videos and read comments, reply to comments, and things like that. So, yesterday, what did we cover? We actually covered I did timestamps on them too, because I was talking a bit, but that's just kind of my style. So, for those of you guys that have been watching me for a little bit, you guys know that's already my style a little bit. But yesterday, I think I covered like three. Yeah, I think I covered like three topics. I covered the Tyrese Gibson. It was a short that I had actually put out. I think that was like in August or something like that. But it got a lot of views, a lot of comments. People felt very passionate on the topic. But it was like the Tyrese Gibson destroyed by a girlfriend on live, and that was one. If you guys really want to really, I'm not gonna completely revisit it, but that was a video where Tyrese had went live on like his own Instagram or his own TikTok, one of those, but it did not go the way I think he expected it to go. People had their opinions about the way that his girlfriend talked to him on live. He actually wound up like cutting the live short early. He didn't like make it all the way through the live, but you guys watch. If you guys have not seen it, we're at the end of the year. What are you waiting for? Check it out. If you guys did see it and was just curious about like maybe my opinion on it or like my thoughts around it, then you guys can check out the video, the live that I did yesterday, which was part one. This is part two. And then yesterday, what else? What else did I cover? I also covered the Will Smith. I covered the Will Smith and versus Mike Tyson, Oscar slap, which there was never a Mike Tyson, Will Smith, Oscar slap. But we all know, like, a lot of people had their opinions, and that whole Oscar thing happened last year, not even this year, but the video that I had was basing it. a lot of people said that Will Smith was so passionate about, his feelings and everything, like, just taking a lot of stuff from the public, that it did not matter who made the jokes. At that point, he didn't care. He would have just went on stage. He would have slapped anybody. I have heard many times over the example of Mike Tyson being used. So that was actually a video where Mike Tyson on his own podcast, I think he was interviewed by like Vlad. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was like Vlad that had interviewed him, but was just asking him like, hey, do you think Will would have pulled that on you? And, Mike Tyson's answer, in my opinion, was very classy. It was a smart answer. It was a non-messy answer. But basically, if you guys want to really see what my opinion was on that, check out the video that I did yesterday, which was part 1, 2023 on Rewind, part 1. You guys can check that out. And I have timestamps, so you guys could just kind of wind past, certain topics if you don't want to hear about it or whatever. And then I also covered a video that's still presently doing really well, that's going viral, is the Michael Jackson checking his brother on stage. People had their strong opinions about that as well. Some people felt like, that's just what do you call it, like a little skit thing, like that's, it's nothing to be taken seriously, blah blah blah. I don't know. I just know that it looked for real. But even if it was for real, I think at the end of the day, I think that they're brothers. I think it was all love. I think sometimes there is like that kind of, whatever, sibling rivalry that you just can't kind of get around. But at the end of the day, I don't think that they left the stage and got into like a brawl. I don't think so. I think it was just, whatever it was. It was banter or whatever, them going a little bit back and forth, Mike having to check his brother Randy a little bit. But I discussed that as well. Because believe it or not, in the comment section, some people turned up on that. They felt like, whatever. Not everybody did, but some did. And then what else did I cover? I covered one more topic. I covered quite a bit yesterday, you guys. So that's one for you guys to see. But today, nonetheless, if you guys want to get all caught up, just check out the video, check out the timestamps. In today's video, you guys, I am going to cover the Puff Daddy, as you know, I'm still calling him Puff Daddy. So you guys can already see, what generation I'm from here. But Diddy, he has called himself many things over the years. But Diddy, his recent, like all that news, the arrest and all that kind of stuff. Talk of it. Is he going to land behind bars? Are they going to really get him this time? Like what? But yeah, so I wanted to, in the past, I actually did a video where I covered, I actually did a short recently. On Diddy and just my thoughts around that. So we can revisit that real quick. Why not? Because that's what we're using this for. But with that, my opinion, basically what I was saying was undeniably, like, I feel like, Diddy has been a mess. I think he's been filed for a minute. I do not think that, anything that new that comes out is something that he has not been doing for a long time. I actually recall back in the day, it was always Puff Daddy, Mace. It was always Diddy and Mace. And then all of a sudden it was no Mace. Supposedly, I do remember way back then, but I didn't really believe it. I'm like, they're always trying to make people out to be whatever, bad guys or whatever, just say whatever type of rumors. But I recall Mace back then, he said, his own feelings. He felt that, he said that, Diddy was not, he was not a straight man, and that, Diddy had made him do some things. And because of that, he went to becoming a priest or yeah, something like that. That's what I heard way back then. And I'm like, what? That is so crazy. I'm like, Puff Daddy. Because it's back then, Puff Daddy. I'm like, no, no. I just really did not believe it. Over the years, we all have heard, increasingly have heard things about Diddy that, I mean, but I do not believe that it's just Diddy. I think that it is not only like the music industry, I think it is Hollywood. I think that it is many different realms of industry, where even going up into like the political realm, so it gets kind of deep. But just in general, I think that Diddy has gotten very messy over the years. And because he has gotten messy, he's kind of like having to take one for the team, is what I think. I think he's done a lot of foul stuff. And we'll get into like the whole Justin Bieber and it's very sad, a lot of stuff, him with Usher and all that kind of stuff. But like I say, I think that he's been bogus for a long time, but this is nothing new. I think that just now with the internet, with social media, and now things are it's so easy for us to easily, we want to find out something, whatever, we could just type it right in, boom, the answer comes up, or whatever. We're always using our phones to tape things, things are getting stored, information is getting shared. So now a lot of things that I think has always been hush hush in Hollywood, but I think a lot of things that have been really hush hush in Hollywood are no longer, like, they're fighting to like maintain that whole, I'm just gonna call it, that whole fake, persona of like, the glitz and the glam, and Hollywood is, but it's not all peaches and cream. It is not. I think a lot of the household names that we recognize, that we say all the time, we see them in all tons of movies. A lot of them have had to really play ball, and have had to do a lot of compromising things. Like I say, with Diddy and him having like different reality shows and stuff like that in the past, I think that he just has gotten messy with it. And but who has Diddy hung out with? He's been known to hang out with Will Smith. He's been known to hang out with Jamie Foxx. He's, what I mean? I'm not saying that everyone who he's hung out with, and he's hung out with Jay-Z, they're all pretty close, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, I'm not necessarily, saying for certain whatever, but I think that the stuff runs pretty deep. I do not think that it's just isolated, all that bad behavior, all of that, really foul stuff. I don't think that it's just isolated within Diddy and how Diddy, has done business over the years. I think that, that's just something, who knows for how long? Who knows? I guess maybe since the beginning. I don't know. Black and white films or whatever, maybe since back then they've had those type of, lay on the director's couch type of thing for the men and for the women. Just saying. But I just, Diddy's one that got messy with it, and because he got messy with it, this is my opinion, and just my opinion, then he's going down for it. I think that he should. I think that it's kind of like, I think I heard Al Sharpton before use the phrase something about like, if you shine light on roaches or something like that, that they go scatter or something. I really feel like it's bigger than what we know, but at least if attention is being brought to it, then they have no choice but at least for a while to kind of play nice. And on top of that, I feel like a lot of young, talented artists that, wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, whatever, they want to get off into the music industry, and they really feel like, whatever, their talent and all of that should, be enough. And technically, yes, it should be, but at least it won't be a certain amount of, naivete, stepping off into the music industry. Like, they'll know, like, it's not, it's music and it's business, but it's also a lot of clubs. We'll put it that way. It's a lot of clubs within the industry that, you're either part of the club or you're not. And it's a lot. A lot of them have paid their dues, so to speak. What else? What else did I want to cover? But yeah, Diddy, just saying. And don't get me wrong, I've been a fan of Bad Boy back in the day, Bad Boy, But this is it's something. So what else? And then I guess it all kind of ties in together, so it doesn't have to be completely separate. But even like the Diddy Justin Bieber thing, I think that Justin has been through a lot. This is, my opinion. I think he's undeniably talented, but I think that, he has definitely, unfortunately, paid his dues to get where he is. Came in as a child, singing, literally taken under Diddy's wings. And, like literally, like there is footage of Justin Bieber in Flavor Camp. I guess that's what it was called, Flavor Camp, with Diddy. And this is before like we really knew, like, some stuff was just still rumors, but before people really knew about like how Diddy got down, how he handled business and what a lot of people associated with him had to do to get those, opportunities that they were given. A lot of them had to really play ball. But yeah, it's like actual footage that you guys could probably Google it or, whatever, look it up on YouTube, where it is Diddy and Justin Bieber when he just started out, and he was, sent to Diddy Flavor Camp, which was, I guess, just him and Diddy. Diddy was calling it Flavor Camp or whatever. I don't know. But it's like really sickening because it's like they show like Diddy with his, arm around Justin Bieber, telling him about, how he was going to give him a nice car and give him this and that. And it just really, really just leaves a bad taste in your mouth, knowing, now that we know more about Diddy, like, it's rough. And it could possibly explain a lot of depression and things like that Justin Bieber has gone through in adulthood. They claim that he, has suffered a lot, with, mental illness, stress, just a lot of the pressures and stresses and stuff like that. But it could very well stem back to, stuff that he still probably has on his mind. Still, I'm sure, in attendance, having to attend different parties and stuff like that. So, yeah, you guys leave comments. Let me know what you guys think. But I thought that, this is a nice opportunity just for me to really kind of give my opinion. Now, recently, I did give my opinion of the Diddy thing. What was it, like 2 days ago or whatever, where I really, really spoke with it. Actually, more recently, yesterday and today, I did more talking on my shorts. Usually with the short, I might just like show whatever the content is and maybe just ask you guys a question. With that, though, I do notice a lot of times there's a bit of speculation where people are like, oh, she means this, or like, no, I think what she's saying is that. This is what she really means, and it's like, So I thought this was a nice opportunity just to kind of share and give my opinion on certain things. That's pretty straightforward. And I actually think I did do a long form video where I talk about Diddy and Justin Bieber. But let me go through some of the comments and just kind of start replying to that, you guys. So let's see. You guys gotta forgive me. This is actually why I have my desktop up. I have my desktop up because I want to go back to the Diddy and JB. It's horrible. Okay, yeah, I actually had this video entitled Justin Bieber and Usher, which was crazy because we found out that like Usher actually went to Diddy's flavor camp when he was 10 years old. And it was something like where Diddy said that he actually had legal custody over Usher when he was like 10. It was just crazy stuff. And Usher lived with Diddy in New York for, it's just, I don't know. Now that we know more, just all of that is, it's horrible. So let me just look at some of the comments. Okay. So with this, because like I say, I was talking about JB, I was talking about Justin Bieber, but I was also talking about Usher. And the question was, some people were saying, I was saying, like, I'm guessing, a parent, maybe, I think Usher's mom, single mom or whatever, wanting her son to be successful, I guess, overly trusting in managers and people from the music industry that are telling her, like, this is what your son needs to do. Because it was something like he, at like 9 or 10 or something like that, he came out with an album that didn't do so well. And because it didn't do so well, his manager sent him to go live with Diddy. Later, I think Diddy gave it the name Flavor Camp. But, and literally, like, in order for him to stay with Diddy for as long as he did, it was like his mom had to give temporary custody to Diddy. It was something like that. But this was actually, like, came from the mouth of Diddy. Like, Diddy said that he had legal custody of Usher at that time. But I was just saying, I'm hoping that the mom, maybe, she just didn't know. But some of the comments here, one person said that she knew he was staying with Diddy. She didn't know what was happening. His mother loves him his mother loves him. She would have never allowed that. Okay, yeah, I agree with that. They do talk about a lot of, parents of children that are famous and stuff like that, that a lot of them also get wrapped up in the fame and the fortune and the money and all that some parents are aware of, like, stuff that goes on and they just let it. But yeah, I don't think so with that either. So I agree with that comment that, she might have known that he was staying with Diddy, but didn't know all of that. And then somebody else, this is funny, but it's not funny. But somebody was saying Diddy's famous words are, why can't you hang with me anymore? Which he literally, like, he did say that. It was a video footage of Diddy meeting up. I don't know if he surprised Justin or what, but I think he also said that to, like, Fabulous. He said that to Fabulous, or one of these, like, rappers or something, about, like, how come you don't party with me no more? Like, how come we don't really party? Some weird stuff. But after Justin Bieber had left Flavor Camp, Diddy caught up with him, and Diddy was, like, for real saying, how come you can't how come you don't hang with me no more, huh? You didn't got so big, you didn't got so, whatever. But, and you could really feel like Justin Bieber, like, he looks like, thrown off. He looked uncomfortable. And now that we know more about, like, Diddy, it is disturbing. And then yeah, some people was just saying, karma Diddy. Some people said, I can't wait until he reaps every single thing he's sown. That is a very nasty man. I agree. But like I say, unfortunately, I don't think it's just Diddy. I agree 100%. I hope that he does, reap all that he has sown. But it's like I think it's the whole music industry and how it's structured. He just so happened, like I say, to have gotten messy with it. A lot of his stuff he did publicly. because he has been on different reality shows and stuff like that. But I'm sure that it goes pretty deep. Um, but hopefully, like I say, with attention being brought to the stuff, I don't think that we should fool ourselves and think that once or Diddy, if Diddy does wind up going down or whatever, goes behind bars for that, oh, now suddenly the music industry is safe. Oh, it's safe again. Diddy's behind bars. Like, no, I don't think that. A lot of that stuff, all of it. Look, like I say again, look at the people that Diddy is known to hang closely with. A lot of people that attend his parties all the time. And I'm a Jamie Foxx fan. I am, but Jamie Foxx even said there's no party like a Diddy party. Now, the more we knowing about Diddy, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta not just look at Diddy and his behavior, which has been horrible, but like, who are the people that have been close around him that have also likely participated in a lot of this stuff or been part of it? So, just saying. And don't get me wrong, like I say, I've been a huge Jamie Foxx fan. I think he's majorly talented, but that don't make other things right either, if that's the case. What else? What else? So I want to go again to some of the comments. What else? I guess no real crazy comments on that one, but that was one that, yeah, I don't know what they were on. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm looking at it right now, but I'm like, I don't know. Poor JB. Looking at him, little child's face or whatever. But you guys, like I said, if you have not done it already, if you guys, like I said, you can go to YouTube and just look up Justin Bieber Diddy Flavor Camp. It'll probably pop up, or you guys can actually go to Google or something. Maybe some stuff will pop up, or just go to my page and look at it. It's actually a long form video. It's the Justin Bieber and Usher Groomed by Diddy Music Industry Dark Side. Click on that. I actually did that 5 months ago. So I don't know what they were on. I don't know if it was like them back in the day on MTV. They might have been on MTV or BT, something like that. It was something that they were on. Let me see. And then what else? But yeah, but my personal opinion, like I say, and I'm going to do timestamps for this one too, you guys, because sometimes I know I can kind of run on a bit. But that's okay. Like I said, I'm sure you guys don't mind. But I am going to do timestamps nonetheless. I just feel like I say, for us not to be fooled. Do not be fooled. Do not be mistaken that if Diddy is suddenly, goes down for all the horrible things he's done, that now the music industry is so much better. It's okay for the new young talent that, left wherever, left Tennessee to move to LA or New York or wherever to pursue their music career, that now everything is peaches and cream. I don't think that. I think that the stuff runs really deep. Like I say, I think it's one big old plug. And because of that, I think that, as long as there's like awareness and people speaking up and speaking out, then that's probably the best thing. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on. Let's I wanted to cover, and this is all kind of connects. I figure why not cover the videos that all are kind of like, I would say, pretty closely aligned. I also wanted to cover the Orlando Brown talks to Tasha K about the dark side of Hollywood. Now, Orlando Brown is one that I feel like, because he has, had a drug problem. I think, yeah, he's recovered from drugs, and has been known to say some pretty crazy stuff during a lot of his interviews. I think a lot of his stuff, a lot of things that he says can be, poo-pooed, right? Dismissed, because he's known to have had a drug problem in the past. But a lot of things that he has said has recently kind of come to light. Like Orlando Brown, he put up some weird, I don't know what platform it was on. I don't know if it was on Instagram, if it was YouTube or what, but it was like some really wild, crazy video short where he was going off on not only P. Diddy, but he was also going off on Will Smith. Now, we do know that in recent news, that actor from Empire, I believe it's the actor from Empire, recently has raised allegations against Diddy as well as Will Smith, which Orlando Brown previously, but I think a lot of, like I say, what Orlando Brown says kind of gets dismissed because he goes so far off on the deep end, saying like some really wild stuff, which I think might even kind of slightly be strategic, because if he talks too much truth and he sounds too sane and too like credible, then I think that, then that's when he has to kind of look over his shoulder and watch his back. But it seems to me like Orlando Brown, like he says a lot of stuff that holds water. It's true, but because of, how he presents himself a lot of times and other things that he says, it gets dismissed. But Orlando Brown, over the summer, if I'm not mistaken, actually had said some crazy stuff about like how he was, this is according to Orlando Brown, allegedly. Orlando Brown said that he had been taken advantage of by Will Smith and then passed along to Diddy. Now, not everything that I think Orlando Brown says is necessarily like, has to be true at all whatsoever. But I'm like, that's, like some more like, what isn't Orlando Brown saying, But I looked up like just to see if Diddy and Will Smith, I'm like, I don't even know if they're friends. I look up and there's a lot of, they have definitely been friends over the years. And I think they were even closer friends back in the day, which I'm guessing is when Orlando Brown is saying a lot of that stuff happened. Orlando Brown, he's my age group, and he's saying that back in the day, I guess him being younger and him being new, he was taken advantage of, he claims allegedly by, he mentioned Will Smith and then said Will Smith passed him along to Diddy. Like I said, I looked up, I Googled and looked up stuff, and it does look like Diddy and Will Smith do have a good friendship and were even closer. A lot of the pictures and stuff I saw were actually really them like back in the day. Like it showed like, I don't know, early 2000s and stuff like that. So it doesn't necessarily mean that everything that Orlando Brown is saying is true. But like I say, in more recent news with the guy from Empire, the actor from Empire or Power, no, I think he's Empire, him, raising allegations against Will and Diddy. I mean, that kind of, says something to what Orlando Brown was saying. But I also wanted to delve more into what Orlando Brown said with during an interview with Tasha K. Orlando Brown, during an interview with Tasha K, and I don't know, like I say, I posted this video. It says 5 months ago is when I actually posted the video. I don't know if that video is from this year or if it's from last year that he actually had that interview. I think that it might have been this year. I'm not sure. But But anyway, Orlando Brown gets off into talking about the dark side of Hollywood. And it gets a little creepy. Maybe it's just me being scary or whatever. What I have it in a long form video, but it's not really that long. It's more like 10 minutes. And I just kind of give my opinion on that. So for some of that, I guess, it's not, if you guys want to know my opinion, you guys can listen now or just check out the video because I kind of do my own commentary through it. Now, like I say, I'm not saying that everything that Orlando Brown says is, whatever, is Bible, is so 100% credible. But in that particular video with Tasha K, he seemed very sober, very coherent. And he got a little silly, but he didn't get really like crazy silly where he's saying like a bunch of stuff that seems incoherent. Like he seemed pretty leveled, but the stuff he was saying was very heavy. To me, it seemed like he was getting more off into like the Hollywood occult scene, which I don't put any of it past any of it. I really don't. But he was just saying about a lot of, now I've heard of people saying that, actors or whatever, they go to Hollywood, they sell their souls. That doesn't have to be literally. That could be more like in a figurative sense, meaning that they're giving up their morals, their scruples for the opportunity of fame, for the opportunity of money. But the way Orlando Brown talks about it is kind of like both, sort of. Like he's talking about it figuratively, okay, whatever, as well as literally. Like he said some pretty, kind of wild, but was just saying like a lot of weird stuff. He said if you want to know the people that are really taking apart, the actors and actresses that are really taking part in a lot of the, I guess that weird Hollywood, strange Hollywood scene, occult scene, just look at the ones that are still here, that have had careers forever. And there's quite a few that could pop up in my head right now. But he was saying a lot of them, it just gets really weird. It gets really weird. But like I say, I feel like what Orlando Brown had to say, don't completely dismiss it because it's coming from Orlando Brown. But I found it to be a little creepy because, like I say, he's getting off into the occult, metaphysical, whatever, strange stuff. But he was saying some stuff. Something about they sell their souls and their promise to live forever. And whatever, just some weird stuff. But you guys should check that video out. Orlando is always entertaining, nonetheless, regardless, whatever he's talking about. He could be talking about the heaviest stuff, and Orlando Brown is very entertaining. But you guys can check that out. That's the video that I have up in the long form, which is Orlando Brown talks to Tasha K about the dark side of Hollywood. Let's look at some of the comments. Was there any comments on? I think it just weirded everybody out. So it got a lot of views, but I don't think, it didn't get any. I think it weirded a lot of people out. And I think because it was a much longer video, but I think I even cut it at like 10 minutes because it was getting kind of creepy. He was talking about soul swapping and just some weird stuff that I don't know. But he talked about how the young people are, coming in, they're taking advantage of, called new booties and all that kind of stuff. But he gets into it. What else? I'm sorry, Orlando is always entertaining. Oh yeah. So what about the Jamie Foxx medical? That was a big one this past year. The Jamie Foxx medical condition situation. That was crazy. Although, like I said, really glad to hear. Now, a lot of people are saying that it's not Jamie, it's a clone and stuff. Like a lot of people are saying that. I find that to be a little bit of a stretch, but I do know anything is possible. Like, this we are in the world of Hollywood and stuff, so I don't know, but I don't think so. I don't. I think that it's Jamie Foxx. I think. Um, Sorry, you guys. Um, Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. Thought I had at least had it turned off. Okay, but anyway, but yes. So Jamie Foxx, he's filming Back in Action, and boom, like we don't know much about it. He goes down. Is stricken with a medical condition that no one can quite explain what it is, but it's serious. Um, he's hospitalized from I think it was from what, April or February or January or February all the way through April or May. Um, Might have been longer than that. I don't know. But anyway, when Jamie Foxx does finally resurface, Jamie Foxx is, people are saying that, well, he did appear to be several shades lighter. Some people were saying, where's his tattoo? Why is his mustache on the lean, gangsta lean? Like, people were making all kind of comments. Some of these were comments from my TikTok, but people had a lot of different comments to make on that. But I just feel like if he's sick and he's in the hospital for months and months, and he's not getting any sun, then yeah, anybody's going to be much lighter if you're not going outside really at all. Now about missing tattoos and stuff, I don't know. Because now, yeah, I like that. I don't know. Now I'm not saying it's not possible, but I don't know. But that was a big one. I just thought that it was a little strange where it's so much buzz around Jamie Foxx, and then all of a sudden, boom, just like that. Like, where's Jamie Foxx? Is Jamie Foxx okay? And then all of a sudden, he's spotted in Schaumburg, outside of Chicago, playing miniature golf. Like, to me, it just seems like before, and then also spotted on a boat on the Chicago River, waving to people because people are like, "That's Jamie Foxx." Like, to me, it just seems like he would have taken a moment to appreciate all the people that care about him, worried about him, concerned, and just let people know, hey, I'm all right. But I don't know. But there was another actual theory around. There was another theory around Jamie Foxx's medical condition. You guys check it out. Jason Lee, he's like a celebrity gossip columnist or whatever. But he's also known to be in all the celebrity circles and whatnot. Even I think it was some recent footage of Rihanna, like she's pregnant, dancing, and you could literally see Jason Lee off to the side on the sideline. So he's known to be in all the celebrity circles, and he also has his own podcast. But anyway, going back to Jamie Foxx, Jason Lee had did his digging, and then all of a sudden you didn't hear anything more about it. So that makes me think I don't know. But Jason Lee, he actually said that something about it got deep. It got deep, you guys. It got deep. Something about Jamie Foxx and Leonardo DiCaprio, and something about him being sequestered to court, for large amounts of money that was embezzled, some crazy stuff. But he was pulling out his receipts, and he was saying that the medical condition could have been the result of those things. But they said Jason Lee, supposedly said that Jamie Foxx was sequestered to DC to testify for his involvement in some large, like, $1 billion scheme. And it was something about an acquaintance of Jamie Foxx and Leonardo DiCaprio that had actually did that. But it was just crazy. It was a lot of ins and outs, and I prefer you guys just to check it out from Jason Lee's, because he said allegedly a lot. Allegedly. So you guys check out what Jason Lee actually had to say on that. But that would also explain a lot too, because people were like, Jamie Foxx seems all right to me. Jamie Foxx seems okay to me. Like, you don't look like he had any kind of stroke or any kind of medical condition to me. So I don't know, but I know that was a big one of the year. But if he is, I think that's Jamie Foxx and not a clone. I think that's great. I'm glad Jamie's doing okay. And he is not, 6 feet under, okay? Because that could have been the case. I'm just saying. On one hand, everybody's all like worried about Jamie. Is he all right? And then the next minute we see he's okay, but then everybody wants to say it's a clone, it's not him, and da-da-da. I don't know. But I'm just glad that, if it is Jamie, he's all right. But definitely you guys check out Jason Lee. His podcast is on YouTube. Jason Lee, what is it called? Jason Lee. Let me see. It is but he had like the real nitty gritty to say on that whole medical condition thing. But after he said that, like he said, I'm probably not going to be invited to any parties anymore, blah, 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 but I don't care. Let me type in Jason. I guess it's just the Jason Lee Show. Let me see. It's Hollywood Unlocked. That's what it's called. Hollywood Unlocked, but Jason Lee does have his own show on there. But then this, that podcast that he did actually went back months, so you would have to probably date it back a little bit, but it was this year. And once he said that, I mean, you didn't hear no more about nothing, but it was dealing with billions of dollars and embezzlement, something about Leonardo DiCaprio and Jamie Foxx's friend, and Jason Lee was pulling out pictures to show that they had been friends, that had partied together many, many times. That was right around that same time. So just saying. And then what else? I'm sorry, you guys. I'm looking at the thing. I'm like, what? What else here? So, what other shorts? And then really quickly, with the, which I thought was funny, the Steve Harvey. It was like a real quick short where it's like Steve Harvey spots a lookalike in the audience. People are like, is that his real brother and all that? I don't think so. I think it was just literally somebody in the audience now it could have been somebody planted there just for them to have that scene on that Steve Harvey show, just to have it or whatever. But it was just a guy that was sitting in the audience that fit the same profile, bald head, mustache, that Steve Harvey was like, am I looking at myself? Which also went in with the whole clone thing. So I'm just saying. What else? And then there was the one that made me laugh, you guys. I could watch that short on my own and just laugh. It was very funny. Let me see. I don't think it was any crazy. It was a few comments from that, so I could read. No, it was just people laughing and stuff on the comments as well. But it's the one, if you guys have not seen it, it's the one where it's a throwback, but it shows Kevin Hart showing Chris Brown how to dance. And for me, I thought it was hilarious. Just Kevin Hart to me is just hilarious anyway, but it was just very funny. It was very funny. What's his name? Kevin Hart was like, stay in beat. Oh, it was just so funny. It was good laughs to me. spicier ones. I covered a lot today, actually. Um, oh, what about if you guys checked it out at all? What about uh, what's his name? Mel Gibson. What about the Mel Gibson movie? You guys, that came out. Now that to me, this is again tying into today's thing. Yesterday was a different thing. It's tying into today's thing with the whole Diddy, Hollywood, music industry stuff. Um, but this is actually showing that it's not just the music industry, it's not just Hollywood, but it is that whole, we'll just call it the group. I don't want to get too conspiracy, say Illuminati, but I said it once. We'll just call them the group. Okay, we'll call them the club. But it's not just in the music industry. It's not just in Hollywood. That's probably penetrates every sector of life, from politics to the food industry to all of this stuff, personally, I think. But anyway, what about the Mel Gibson? I'm looking at my shorts, you guys, my short videos, and I was asking, has anyone seen The Sound of Freedom yet? Is what I asked. If you guys have seen it, drop it into the comments down below. If you did see it, what did you think about it? It has some pretty heavy content on it. Behind that movie, though, and that was getting off into, YouTube does not allow me to say a lot of words. So excuse me, you guys, I'm like burping and stuff, but YouTube does not allow me to say a lot of words because the videos just will not be allowed to play. But for those of you guys who were wondering about the topic of the movie, The Sound of Freedom, you guys can just look it up, Google it. It actually did really, really well in spite of not having any real mainstream backing. Like you couldn't find any commercials on TV about it. There was no commercials on the radio. There was nothing to really promote the movie outside of like word of mouth and people just knowing the subject matter of the movie. But it was basically exposing the P. Diddy's of the world, not just within the music industry, but also in Hollywood, very powerful people of power that are all kind of in that same group. And the issues around, children and different heavier issues. But that was one. Some people in the comments, one woman said, yes, saw it July 3rd. It opened our minds and our eyes to what we were thinking and suspecting, to now what we are seeing. It is now a reality. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. This movie should be seen by everyone, everywhere. We need to all work together to love and protect God's children and prove to these monsters that God's children are not for sale. And that's a heavy, wonderful comment that someone left. But yeah, so it was a lot of heavy hitters this year. But like I say, they actually say that movie broke box office, like sales and stuff like that. And that is something, because that was in spite of, no commercials on TV, no commercials on the radio, no billboards up, nothing. And then what you did hear, there were some like CNNs or Fox News, there were some coverage of it, like people just talking about it. But overall, in general, it was even being like talked down about, like, oh, this movie is what did they say? I think they even came up with a new terminology for it. Some crazy term, because this was a movie that was actually based off of a true story, story about a guy who, worked for the government or whatever, who was sent out to investigate. And in his investigation, it kind of just, opened his eyes up to a lot of stuff. And he felt like he had to save the children, really dedicate himself to that cause. And it's so weird because, like, I saw he was celebrated as a hero, and then all of a sudden they make the movie about it, which I guess they knew it'd be more than just a news article, or just a quick little spoof, whatever on the evening news by them actually making a movie out of it. And then now all of a sudden, like, he's not a hero and it's just a lot of hogwash and da 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 da. But yeah, so that was another one. That was another big one. And that was a really great comment that someone left. So true. But yeah, you guys. So my point for anybody, because I know some of you guys have not been watching from the beginning, but what I plan to do, what I am doing, is just to use today through the rest of this week. Use yesterday through the rest of this week, just to discuss. It's kind of like 2023 and rewind, just to discuss some of the shorts, some of the long form videos that I've posted, and just kind of really share my thoughts on them. Now, usually on the long form, I'm definitely sharing my thoughts, but a lot of times on the shorter form videos, at least in the past, what I would do is I would just show like a quick little spoof of something and then ask you guys a question and not really share my own thoughts on it. Not too much. I didn't really want to get in the way of what other people may have thought of it. I wanted to really hear their opinions. But I always think it's funny, like in some, not all, but in some videos, you go down to the comment section and people are saying what I mean. Yeah, that's what she meant. And are you saying this? Oh yeah, that's what, and to me, it's just really funny. So I wanted to use this time just to kind of really share my thoughts on it, read some of the comments, some of the comments that I thought may have been profound, some of the comments that I thought I just kind of wanted to clarify on, maybe some of the questions left. I've already covered quite a bit yesterday. I added timestamps. I'm going to put some timestamps into today's video. But yeah, the sound of freedom and how, oh yeah, also, I'm sorry, let me back it up a little bit to the Sound of Freedom movie, which I thought was crazy. You guys, people were talking about how that movie had actually been like sabotaged in theaters. Like, and if you guys go to TikTok, and I think you guys could probably even find it on YouTube, but if you guys go to TikTok, there's plenty of footage of people showing like all of a sudden the fire alarms go off, or just really weird, strange stuff happening, or the sound goes out on the movie, or one person reported that like I guess there's certain, what do you call it? Certain different things you could put up for the hearing impaired, right? And like they had it where like it was like talking over the movie. It was just very weird. Or the sight impaired or whatever, people that couldn't see, they had the voice. So it was just very strange. But somebody had actually shared that. But just a lot of weird things happened where the movie was sabotaged. But in spite of it being sabotaged, it still did majorly well in the box office, which I think was great. And more of that needs to happen. It needs to shine. It needs to kind of come to the forefront. And there have been child stars that have spoken out, about that have not been taken that seriously, like Orlando Brown and like Corey Feldman, who also had an issue with drugs at one point too. I know he had like some strange behavior, and because of his strange behavior, a lot of what I think he has said in the past, at least, was not taken very seriously. But Corey Feldman has been talking about it for a long time. And he actually named some of the Hollywood, I can't even think of the actor's name. I cannot even think of the actor's name, but he's a white guy who, he also has a famous father who has been like, he, comes in the line of actors. I can't think of it, but he's the one that recently was diagnosed as having AIDS, I believe, or something like that. But anyway, Corey Feldman said that he and his other friend, Corey Haynes, back in the day, had been taken advantage of by him on set. like full on taken advantage of. And I don't need to give like details. But I was just saying that there have been child stars to speak up and speak out. Unfortunately, because a lot of them have had issues, drug problems, and stuff like that, their stuff has not really been taken as serious. So that ties back to the sound of freedom and just a lot of stuff recently. The whole Diddy stuff thing, all of it kind of coming to the forefront, which I think is necessary and needs to happen. Yep. But what else you got? I'm just kind of scrolling through here and I'm trying to see what else? Oh, okay, one more, you guys. Yeah, I think we have time for one more. So, what about, and people were saying the same thing about Kanye West. Now, the whole clone thing, I'm not, there's been a lot of crazy things that are possible in this world. So I'm not doubting it. But when I hear clone, I'm like, now if they could clone a cow and they could clone chickens and stuff and sheep and all that, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I don't know, the whole clone thing. But what about, sorry, you guys, what about Jamie Foxx's, now if you guys go to my long form video, I think that YouTube didn't really want to like promote it too much. I think anytime I say like dark side or whatever, Hollywood dark side, it doesn't, the algorithm doesn't like that too much. But if you guys go to my long form videos and you guys check out the Kanye West Strange Hollywood party, this was his recent party this year in May. I'm just saying, what do you guys think about that? If you guys haven't checked it out, do check it out. I cover it, but there's also a lot of other YouTubers that have covered that. And you probably can check it out on even some other platforms. But Kanye West, so let's rewind it a little bit. We know Kanye West has his Sunday morning or whatever. I thought Kanye West, and maybe he is, I don't know. I don't want to question anybody's faith and stuff like that. But there has been things that have not quite been consistent. But to my understanding, I thought Kanye West was a Christian. Okay, he has his Sunday morning service and stuff like that. I thought it was whatever. Now in the past, and I do know, he was doing like shows. Like when I say the past, I mean like the past couple of years. Because I do know that with the city that I'm in, I did not attend, but I did have family that attended one of Kanye's shows, and they were surprised that Marilyn Manson showed up during the show, which Marilyn Manson, his whole like demeanor and his whole like how he frames himself is usually not that of Christian. It's if anything, it's supposed to be like the Antichrist or whatever. That's how we know that's how Marilyn Manson has framed a lot of his stuff. But okay, let's wind forward. Let's go back to Kanye West's strange birthday party. So with this, and I had ran across this video, so I wanted to kind of like give my own like little commentary on it because it kind of blew me. I was like, whoa. Now we know that in Kanye West, his past birthday this year in May, he had where it was like very strange, like dark setting where the whole like party room was nothing but candles. And he had women laid out like in the nude with food covered over them, like with candles all around them. And they were supposed to lay out like corpses. Okay. Now, some people were saying that, oh, well, that's just a Japanese tradition of whatever, some stuff. I don't know. But it didn't look like that. It looked very strange. He had where it was like smoke, where the room was all like extra smoky. Of course, it had candles, but it was like smoke filled, dark with the candles. And then it was also something very odd where his daughter had showed up, his oldest daughter, him and Kim's oldest daughter had showed up, and she had like makeup and hacked or something like that on her face, where it looked like that. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, maybe it's a costume party. parties do have different themes. She's a kid. Maybe she's just, whatever, wants to have fun with makeup. I don't know. But you look there, there's nobody else dressed up that way. And then somebody had did a little research, which I thought was very, very strange. Somebody had did a little research and they were showing how Kanye West's birthday party was actually a copy of some woman. You guys have to actually go back to the video because I believe in the video, the woman's name is mentioned and it's like stuff is shown because I'm actually doing like a reaction to that video. But some famous woman that's known as a big occultist in Hollywood, that she has had parties like that. But instead of it being where it was models that were laying out like that, it was actual cake of human like corpses, and they actually cut into the cake and ate, and like the inside would be red like blood, and they were actually eating that. And it was not a Halloween party or anything like that. Like she was a known like occultist, whatever, Satan woman or whatever. I don't know. But like people had actually like dissected his party and really broke it down. And they were even able to find like articles where Kanye West had mentioned this woman, whatever, famous, whatever. You guys have to actually go to the video to get the names and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. But where Kanye West had mentioned this woman and said that I think her name's like Brahm something, whatever. But he had mentioned this woman and said that he is like her, or he considers himself to be like her, or the new version of her. Some very strange stuff that to me did not coincide with the whole Sunday morning Kanye thing. I'm like, what happened? What happened, Kanye? I know he's been through a lot with his mom, and that could have been what ticked him off, I don't know. Or just entering into the industry, because he did get off into the industry, and we've already done our talk today on the industry, and all of the stuff that comes along with that. So I don't know. It could have been a combination of those things. But I'm like, I thought Kanye was Christian Sunday morning. What happened? He's comparing himself to some famous occultist lady who they say Kim. They had pictures of Kim hanging out with the lady as well, but it was only while she was with Kanye. So I don't know if Kanye introduced Kim to this woman or whatever. I don't know, but they had pictures of this woman's party, and it looks like she had other people all around, looked like some more Hollywood stuff, whatever. Probably some celebs all up and through there. And they were literally cutting into a corpse cake. It looked like a human, a nude human that, it's just some very strange stuff. So that coincides with, they said that that's what, allegedly, that's what Kanye was modeling his birthday party after. Like, that's really what it was behind all that, not just like a Japanese tradition. Because that doesn't still equal out with the candles, dark lit room and candles and all that other strange stuff. So I'm just saying. I don't know, you guys. And I think we might wrap it up for today. Unless I could find one more. I really kind of just wanted to close out, like I say, this year by just following up with a lot of these videos, giving my thoughts on it. And what else? I think I pretty much covered all the long form ones, because I do want to save some stuff for tomorrow, because I will be going live again tomorrow, same place, same time. And like I say, any questions, anything like that, you guys can just leave your comments, leave your questions. But this is really shouldn't really be any questions, because I'm just at this point kind of recapping, rewinding 2023 videos, short form as well as long form videos that I have uploaded. Like I say, maybe some got a little bit more buzz than others. Maybe some went viral, whatever. But I just wanted to talk about some of those, really give my opinion if I didn't, because especially with the shorts, I Normally, I just, with the short videos, I hadn't until recently been giving my opinions on those. And then pretty much, yeah. So I hope you guys are having an amazing holiday season. You guys leave your comments below and let me know, what's your New Year's resolutions? Have you guys started thinking about 2024? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to check off your list? Do you guys plan to do any New Year's resolutions? You guys leave comments. And then also maybe what content you guys would like for me to cover moving forward. Oh, also, you guys, I also wanted to say, this. I didn't say this yesterday, but I also wanted to say that for a little bit, and I still might off and on just kind of play with that content, especially if it's helpful. Originally, like I say, when I started this channel, it was, kind of like a celebration of celebrities. It's still a celebration of MJ, of Michael Jackson. I'm still a fan. But just in general, the more that I delved and I got off into like more celebrity stuff, Hollywood stuff, there's so much that has kind of come to the surface that we're now being made aware of due to social media, due to the internet, a lot of stuff that has been hidden in the dark that has come to the light. And, I just felt like I had to kind of pivot a little bit with a lot of the celebrity content and stuff like that I've covered, just because, if I felt like if I did cover it, I had to kind of cover the real if I was going to be covering it at all. And that's why you do see me having short form videos or long form videos on Orlando Browns and the Corey Hames. And just talking about some of maybe the more unsettling sides of Hollywood, because I don't think everything is all glitz and glam. And, I did think that at one point. I did until, like I say, so much has been brought to light. But I do not think that it's just the music industry. I don't think it's just Hollywood. I think it's a big old club. And so, yeah. But anyway, if you guys have any type of topics that you guys are wanting to hear, hoping to hear, maybe in the future, leave comments down below. And I will see you guys later. I'm going to end this live. Have a good night, you guys. Bye.